Panhard 24. The Panhard 24 is a compact two-door coupe automobile produced between 1964 and 1967 by French manufacturer Panhard. It was powered by a front-mounted air-cooled two-cylinder boxer motor. The basic design of this unconventional engine dated back to the 1940s. In 1965 a lengthened Panhard 24 was launched and promoted as a two-door 4 or 5-seat saloon. Plans for a four-door version which might have enabled the car more effectively to replace the commercially successful Panhard PL17 saloon were never implemented, however. Although the 24 had no Panhard badge successor, a number of the features of the Citroën GS which appeared, after an unusually long gestation period, in 1970 respected Panhard traditions. The Panhard 24 may be thought of as the swan song of Panhard automobile production. Since 1967 the Panhard business has concentrated on manufacturing light military vehicles. Panhard was among the earliest automobile producers and, by some criteria, the first volume auto producer in the world, back in 1890. In 1955 Citroën had taken a 25% holding in Panhard's automobile business, and from this time onwards the two brands were increasingly managed as a single range. During the next 2 years the national dealership networks of the two businesses were integrated. This gave Citroën and Panhard dealers an expanded market coverage, incorporating now a small car, a medium-sized saloon and a large car range. It gave Citroën desperately needed production capacity at Panhard's Ivry plant, which from now on produced Citroën 2CV fourgonnettes, light vans, alongside Panhard sedans. In the second half of the 1950s, the integration of the sales and service network synergized sales of the Panhard Dyna Z and of its successor, the Panhard PL17. Nevertheless, product development decisions tended to favor the Citroën brand ahead of Panhard's, which also seemed to have lost out to the Citroën fourgonnette in respect of production capacity allocation. During the later 1950s the Citroën DS range extended its appeal down market with a more aggressively priced Citroën ID. 1961 saw the launch of the Citroën ME, effectively representing an upmarket and modernized version of the Citroën 2CV. It is also clear that plugging the gap in Citroën's range with a Citroën branded model was being mooted many years before the 1970 arrival of the Citroën GS. In looking to upgrade their popular PL17, Panhard faced strong opposition from Citroën President Pierre Burkhardt to any new model that could trespass significantly on market segments where Citroën had an existing or planned presence of their own. This appears to be the reason why the firm's roomy four-door sedan found itself replaced by a Q design, in the form of the Panhard 24. The proposal by the Panhard design team to fit the 24 with a four-cylinder engine was also blocked, on cost grounds, in favor of the existing Panhard two-cylinder unit. The car featured a low modern body line with a prominent waist-level groove reminiscent of the then fashionable Chevrolet Corvair. At a time when monocoque construction was becoming mainstream, the 24 sat on a separate and very strong tubular steel chassis. It was therefore possible, even using the economically available materials of the time, to keep the window pillars relatively thin, which gave the car an airy cabin and outstanding all-round visibility, while class-leading structural rigidity for the body could nonetheless be claimed, thanks to the pleating and reinforcement of the roof panel. The tubular steel front and rear subchassis were bolted to a platform frame that comprised the floor and the flat steel side members. Under the skin, the structural architecture was little changed from that of the Dyna 54. Although the basic engine format had changed little since 1948, the lack of a radiator and the low profile of the boxer motor configuration made it possible for the Panhard to achieve an exceptionally low and streamlined front end that sat well with more recent styling trends. Citroën's own DS design, constrained by the taller profile of its more conventional water-cooled unit, achieved a similarly wind-cheating front profile only by setting the engine some 40 cm back from the front of the car. The DS19 used essentially the power unit of the traction Avon, using the same front-wheel drive layout with the engine set directly behind the front wheels and the clutch and gearbox ahead of the engine. The Panhard 24 incorporated twin headlights set back in the body of the car and covered by a single glass cover, a styling cue that would be adopted for the Citroën DS in 1967. The stainless steel front bumpers, fenders, each in 3 sections to facilitate replacement, were integrated into the body line in a way that reduced drag and foreshadowed future designs.